This is going to be a very, very brief stream, but I gotta say I'm in a much, much better mood than I was earlier on today. I just finished watching the Fred Hampton Leftist last stream, and let me just say, I guess let me just say like first before I say anything else, because like I don't know any of the people in Fred Hampton Leftist personally, so I'm not going to make any claims. I have any inside information. The only thing I know is my what I see from the outside, right? So I'm just trying to get into this independent media space. I have a lot of respect for a lot of the players, and I've seen Fred Hampton leftists pop up here and there. I love what they're doing. I like to use Fred Hampton as an example. A lot of times when I get in a conversation with somebody that's they're trying to talk about how minimize the class struggle, and I really believe that when it really comes down to it, if we're going to see some real movement on any of the things that we want, we have to unite the classes. So it's beneficial, and I know Nick says this a lot. There's a huge wide open lane for like a black progressive voice, and a network of actually like black activists, because obviously, as you can see, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I cannot do that they can do, and it wouldn't be right for me to do. So I'm just like kind of watching from the sidelines and seeing this thing sprout up, and especially this General Strike Summit. All of these things are very inspiring. And it's very inspiring to see them start to grow. Um, it's very inspiring to see Jimmy Dore, have promote them and help them to grow. And listen, I don't, nobody agrees 100% on every policy, your ideology. It's all these things are constantly evolving, anyways. But when it really comes down to it, I mean, we could spend all the time in the world just debating theory, sitting on our hands, and that's what the ruling establishment wants us to do. They want us to get bogged down in these intellectual discussions. But anyways, so the first stream I did, I was inspired. A lot of times, your hatred for something that you see, like your frustration with something, is what generally inspires people to act. So my hatred for this, fucked up system that just oppresses people. I've seen it my entire life. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey. It's a fucked up neighborhood, man. Grew up in the church, seeing all the hypocrisy in the church. There's so many parallels and so many different aspects of different things that I've experienced throughout my life that inform my perspective, and my perspective will continue to evolve as I move forward. But I'm really depressed to see Compton J, one of the founding members of the Fred Hampton Leftists, was voted off. A lot of people, a lot of us were very, very upset. The one thing that bothered me the most about this whole thing was it gave people, especially this asshole on my screen, this guy who looks like he just got punched, punched in the forehead, which wouldn't surprise me if somebody clocked him in his fucking big ass forehead, because because he's got like a big ass knot there. So, I mean, I don't know much about All American Socialist either, but he definitely, somebody smacked him upside the head. But he's still running his fucking mouth. But anyways, listen, I just finished watching the new Fred Hampton Left stream. Very encouraged, very inspiring to see people, swallow their pride, get out in front of an issue. That's the only thing I tried to keep my mouth shut. Like I said, I don't know any of these people. Just try to keep my mouth shut and not tweet a bunch of bullshit and jump into, this controversy. But I just only input I had was like, you're giving the trolls a lot of ammunition here. You guys need to get out in front of this, and I'm not gonna pretend like they even saw that shit. But I think a lot of other people had the same sentiment, and it's nice because the audience of FHL, it seems like it's a lot of real ass people. So I'm proud to include myself, you know, as one of those people that's watching and that's trying to, hopefully organize with them as they continue to grow and continue to actually, have like a positive impact. But this motherfucker, I'm gonna play this video from this guy because, this is just disgusting. So this, Compton J got voted out. Um, it seemed like, I don't know, some kind of, all these different discrepancies. Compton J released a video detailing a little bit more, and you guys can all watch these things online. But it sounds like, he pissed off a few of the newer members, and the organization is always going to be a lot of infighting, man. I mean, I've seen it within companies I've worked for. I still work for a small company. I saw it grow. I had some positions of power within that company. I got a big head. I had to learn how to fight my own ego, find my own place, which is not, not some sort of power broker, but just do my own shit. But anyways, I had to deal with all the, all the complications that come from bureaucracy and an organization that starts to grow and become profitable, develop positions of power, increase visibility. Everybody wants a little piece of the pie. So I'm not saying that's what happened at FHL, but I understand. I understand human nature, and unfortunately, I've experienced a lot of the dark side of of these things in my life and different struggles that I've gone through. But in my life as a more productive member of society, I have seen some pretty crazy shit. Just the display of ego, the display of power and control, and how tempting those things are, and how hard they are to resist, and the infighting that can happen within an organization that starts to grow, and I mean, in these endeavors, in this type of endeavor, we're trying to really help the least of these. We're this is almost like a spiritual task, and it's sad to see a lot of people come at it from a very cold, very cynical perspective. A lot of the bigger voices that claim to be progressive or socialist, or um, they come at these things with a very cold, calculated, hard intellectual perspective. I've seen these things within church organizations. I've seen these things within small companies. But these are not religious organizations. These are not companies. An organization like Fred Hampton Leftists are just a basic movement for the growth of humanity, and movements for peace, ending war, movements for helping rise people up out of poverty, pressure our government officials to actually do something. And when they won't do it, we recognize that the power rests within us, and we can band together, and we can do it without any permission from any government entity. So these are things I saw Fred Hampton leftists moving towards, and it was a great big disappointment to see that it appeared to be for a very short period of time like things were going to start falling apart, and they turned around quick. I'm very happy to see the stream that they just posted, and I'm very happy that Compton J is back on board. Whatever the disagreements were, it's not as important because now they're in the public. Now people are watching, and what Nick said on the stream was very important because he talked about some of these things that I was just saying, like I can't remember everything that he said, but just that this is bigger than us, and that's the goal. These cannot be money making ventures. These types of organizations cannot devolve into cynicism like so many political endeavors devolve into. Power, control, the allure of power and celebrity and money, all these things are so tempting. It takes a lot to resist these kinds of things, but it seems like they're on the right track now. And I'm not saying that's why, Compton J, it seems like just an issue with personalities clashing with each other. And that's going to happen. Get any group of people in a room together for a long enough time, they're going to start fighting with each other. I mean, during COVID, I got married during COVID, and I see, me and my wife have been together in almost mostly isolation, and it has strained that relationship. But it ultimately will make you stronger if you can communicate. And this is true of all human relationships, not just relationships of a romantic nature, but human relationships. You have to have honesty, you have to have communication, and the beautiful thing that I saw here, and the thing that is lacking in all of these different government organizations, is the ability to have some humility, some self-reflection, to get in front of the public because you've made yourself a public entity, and admit wrongdoing and apologize out in front of anybody who wants to watch. And that is not a weakness. and no one is going to see that as a weakness. But what was seen as a weakness was them kicking Compton J out, and people like this guy had to jump in and let me just play a little bit because this will encourage me to speak a little bit more passionately. So here's all American socialist with a nod on his head, probably because he mouthed off to the wrong person and got smacked in it. So
1, 2, 3. 1. 1, 2, 3. 2. 1, 2, 3. 3. This is what you asked for. 1, 2, 3.
who
5.
watches this fucking
One,
dude?
two, three,
I found him on a YouTube search. So.
6.
Mhm.
Now,
6.
this,
All right.
ladies and gentlemen,
Corny ass piece
is
of
a
shit.
perfect example of reaping what you have sowed.
Right, right,
This
right, right,
is
right, right.
a
He's gonna go on.
What is it that they are thus reaping? It's antagonism, as simple as that. This is the pseudo left in a nutshell.
I talked about this in another stream, right? And I was talking about Obama, and Christopher Edley Jr. talked about he wanted Obama to keep a grassroots organization going, which would allow input from the people that propelled him into victory, the grassroots activists, into the presidency, into the organization. And it ultimately never happened because of DNC insiders who took over and completely fucked the idea. So what they claimed of Christopher Edley was that he was ruthlessly antagonistic or systematically antagonistic. That is what we have to be to the Democratic National Party, or the DCCC, the Republican National Committee, the two-party duopoly, and the progressive leaders that fail us and vote for war and all this other bullshit that show they have no spine. Ruthless, systematic antagonism, and don't let anybody with a big knot on their forehead tell you that if you sow this kind of righteous indignation and you try to hold your elected representatives accountable and you speak out and they do wrong, that you're going to reap something like that in return. Not if you stay true to your message, not if you keep yourself righteous. It doesn't mean you're going to be perfect, but when you make a mistake, it is a symbol of maturity and growth. It is a symbol of a strong, mature person to be able to admit that they've made that mistake and to reconcile and to improve their communication and to grow and to keep in focus in front of them and in focus in front of yourself the goal, which is ultimately the goal of all these progressive policies. Um, it is to help the people that are suffering. I don't have any family members in jail. I haven't been in jail for a long time, but I will continue to speak out and I will continue to sound an alarm for the people that are still suffering in those conditions that I sat in. Because when I was in there, the people that helped me, I am eternally grateful to them. So to speak out against that system, even though to think about that system causes me great pain, it is a righteous act and it is a selfless act because they do not have a voice. And there are so many people in our society that do not have a voice. And what the Fred Hampton leftists are trying to accomplish is to give a voice to those voiceless and to actually create actions that will make a substantial difference in our society if we can accomplish these tasks. A long fucking road ahead. I'm so encouraged to still be able to go to the General Strike Summit. It's a great idea, great ideas. Um, and sometimes, let me just not even say it because I don't know what happened. But I'm very happy that they're back together. Let's look at this punching bag again.
Camp antagonism is as camp antagonism does. That's all this is. Never wanting to be part of a movement, just part of a club, just part of a clique. For clicks, of course. Always for that money, of course. Make no doubt about it.
Don't give these trolls any more fucking ammunition. It's not about money. This is about people. And this is about a movement. And that allure is always going to be there. It's there for you. It's there for me. It's there for everybody else. If you raise your voice, um, ultimately there will come a time, if you get enough people to listen and to support you, that you'll face a crossroads, and you're going to either go down that easy path and you're going to water down your message. You're going to follow the route of TYT, the route of Sam Cedar, the route of even, dare I say it, Kyle Kalinske. And it's very frustrating to see these things happen, and it's done in a very subtle way. It's very hard to pick out exactly what it is that they're doing wrong, but a lot of times we got to go with our gut instincts. We got to go with our feelings about certain things. Because if you feel like something is wrong, look a little bit deeper into it. Um, don't just believe because you want to believe. You know, you really got to be intellectually honest. Your celebrities, your heroes, they're always going to let you down. Movements are stronger than people. So movements have achieved great change in our society. The Black Panther Party achieved great change in society for black people. And these are the people we should model ourselves after, the people that were willing to die for a cause that was for the betterment of society. If they stick to their guns, if they remain true, they will be immortalized in the history of our society as martyrs. And what greater hope could you possibly have than to be seen as a person who courageously stood up for people that were, in dire straits, people that were less fortunate than you, and helped pull them up that ladder and fought for them ruthlessly, selflessly fought for them, and actually accomplished change in your society that lasts for generations to come. This man will be forgotten within probably a few years, if he's even remembered at all. He might have another nod on his head next time he comes on the video. Who knows? Maybe he went out to a bar and talked some shit to somebody. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. But I don't even know why he would get on a video and dance around and laugh at the Fred Hampton leftists potentially breaking up when somebody smacked him in his forehead. But
About it. Make no doubt about it. That is one of the prime motivators of the pseudo left. What are some of the other things about the pseudo left that are constantly coming to the forefront? These petty interpersonal squabbles, they never let it go. They never let it go.
says someone who just makes videos anytime there's an interpersonal squabble and gives his opinion. This is all this man does. He has no interest, no original thought. He's not producing anything of value. He is a true reactionary. And this projection, we see this projection so much from so many bad actors, and from liars. A big tool, a big way that liars communicate is to accuse the people that they are afraid of, because they're always afraid of being exposed when they're doing dark deeds, um, of being guilty of the very thing that they do, of the very thing that they are setting out to accomplish. So this is a reactionary who produces nothing of quality, nothing that anyone should ever listen to or pay any attention to. And the Fred Hampton leftists are on the opposite of that spectrum, even though no one is perfect, even though an organization is very difficult to grow, and it is very difficult to stay true to those values that you started out with, especially when you start to see a little bit of success. Um, but if I hope they keep in mind that this is not about anything more than their objectives and their goals, and to help the people that are suffering and struggling in this country to see something better. These mutual aid efforts are amazing, and they are a necessary voice for good in our society that I hope they continue to grow. I hope they are blessed, and I hope that I can continue to just watch them and interact with them. because they are an inspiration to me, and I know they're an inspiration to many other people. So keep up the good fight. I'm glad you guys worked that shit out, and I'm done. Peace, not war. See you guys on the other side.